How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hopefully everyone is having a lovely day. So it's pretty simple, right? Draft a tackle. Protect the quarterback. If you ain't gonna draft a tackle, draft a tight end that can potentially protect the quarterback and give Joe Burrow yet another weapon to tear apart teams defensively. Or hey, you know what? If they cut Mixon, could use a running back. It seems so simple. Before the draft starts, the mock drafts start coming out, and we say, yep, it's going to be one of these guys. But what are the chances? If everybody feels so confident the Bengals go one direction and they throw us a curveball, they DAX Hill us, and they throw a name out there nobody was expecting in the first round of the draft. And you break this down and say, hey, this is historically about how it goes. We go into the draft season, you know, everybody's feeling good about things. You look at a lot of mock drafts from last season. It's like the Bengals didn't get any of those guys on a lot of those mock drafts. And that's typically how it goes because you don't know how things are going to fall during the actual draft compared to the mock, compared to the rankings. Teams view players way differently. We don't really know what they're feeling about these guys. It's just a bunch of experts making their own analysis and opinions on these players. So things tend to fall apart compared to what a mock draft is showing. And the Bengals, again, there was the T. Higgins draft. I don't think anybody expected T. Higgins to fall to the second round. When he did, you said, hey, I don't think the Bengals are thinking wide receiver, but you had to take a wide receiver. Actually, no, Pittman was an option. I remember Pittman was big talk back then, but nobody expected T. Higgins. You had to take him. I think the Bengals seen Dax Hill fall last season and said, I don't think this guy should be falling. Now we got a chance to fill a void at safety if we lose one of our other guys or pick him up. And I think that's been a Bengals MO in the past with the drafts is they kind of look for the future. They don't always look to fill a void now. Will they change that now that they're a Super Bowl team, or can we expect them to do more of the same? Because if they do more of the same, we say, hey, guess what? Cheeto's contract ends after this season. Will the Bengals extend him, especially since he just had injuries last season? Will they extend him? Are they worried about that? They typically don't do third-year contracts. Bengals could be looking cornerback. You look in the interior of this defensive line. DJ Reader, contract coming up soon. Typically, the Bengals don't do third-year contracts. That's a big hole. The pass rush, fourth worst in the league last season. To no coincidence or surprise at all, the two teams that made the Super Bowl led the league in sacks. Respectively 1 and 2. Eagles 1, Chiefs 2. Pass rush is game-changing on the defense. Lou's been a magician back there, to say the very least. But if you gave that guy a pass rush, who does that defense become even nastier? You look at the offensive side of the ball. Again, I don't think anything would be a surprise offensively unless the Bengals were to go guard. That might shock us a little bit, but it's possible. I don't think they go wide receiver. Obviously, that'd be a big shocker. But again, you know what? It's possible. Because, hey, T. Higgins' contract's coming up. They feel like they can get a guy to replace T. Higgins in the first round cheaper. I don't want to talk about that. I don't like that idea. I don't like it at all. I don't like it one bit. But I think there's a really good chance. You stop and look at the possibilities for this Bengals team that we wake up, unless you stay up late on a Thursday night, wake up in the morning and say, look at this, the Bengals drafted, like a Kalijah Kancey. I think that's a big addition. I think it's a big pick. We hear rumblings of that guy. But I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they went interior defensive line. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they went cornerback. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they went defensive line in general. And I think that could shock a lot of people, though, that are so locked in on thinking Bengals tight end, Bengals offensive lineman, and for good reason. And hey, you know what? Let's not rule out the possibility of them drafting another safety at this position. If they feel really good about how the Dax Hill situation worked out, you bring in Nick Scott, who, well, we'll see. He's been a backup, he's been a starter. How confident are they in this guy being a starter? You bring up another guy in the draft, and you have two stud safeties back there. You never know what this Bengals team's thinking, but I tell you what, I think the chance of us being shocked in this draft, I think it's over 50%. I really do. Now, it might be a position the Bengals were expecting to take, but, what happens when DeJuan's gone or Michael Mayer? We could see him go for a guy maybe we weren't expecting. Maybe a guy that slips a little bit. I think there's a good chance of it. That's the beauty of the draft. A lot of unexpected, unpredictable things can happen in the draft and possibly in the Bengals' favor. Love you guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.